This is the story of a shy young man from Oregon who transformed the world of sports. He did it through a clothing brand now known across every corner of the world, Nike. Today, Nike is valued at $150 billion and stands as one of the most iconic brands in modern history. I'm talking about Phil Knight, the man who defied the odds, risked everything, and won. Phil Knight was born on February 24, 1938, in Portland, Oregon, into a middle-class family. His father was a newspaper editor, a figure who might have seemed like a model of success. But for Phil, his father was cold and distant, someone who never believed in his son's dreams. "If you want something, you'll have to earn it yourself," his father would say. That skepticism planted a mix of rebellion and a burning desire in Knight to prove not just to his father, but to the world that he was capable of something greater than anyone could imagine. From a young age, Knight was an avid runner. The long hours spent on the track taught him the endurance and discipline that would later define his life. But running wasn't enough. After graduating from the University of Oregon and completing a brief military service, Knight set out to forge his own destiny. He knew he wanted to do something big, something that defined him, but he had no idea how to make it happen. A trip to Japan in 1962 changed everything. Knight, fascinated by the athletic shoes being produced by Japanese companies, had a gut feeling. "This is my opportunity." Armed with his life savings, just $50, he met with executives from the brand Onitsuka Tiger and took a huge gamble by signing a deal to distribute their shoes in the US. It was an act of pure faith. He had no company, no clear plan, just an unshakable conviction. Blue Ribbon Sports, as it was called then, was founded in 1964. At first, Knight sold the shoes out of the trunk of his car. Despite his efforts, the business struggled. Often, he was broke, unable to fulfill orders. Worse yet, Onitsuka, his only supplier, began betraying him by seeking out other distributors and sabotaging his business. "Every day was a fight for survival," Knight recalled. "We were on the edge of a cliff, and there was no safety net." In his darkest moments, it was Bill Bowerman, his former track coach, who kept him focused. Bowerman not only believed in Knight, but shared his passion for shoes. Together, they began experimenting with new designs, trying to find the magic formula to create the perfect shoe. It was Bowerman who invented the waffle sole, a breakthrough that would change the company's future. But the drama didn't end there. In 1971, Knight made one of the riskiest decisions of his life. He broke ties with Onitsuka and decided to create his own brand. Thus, Nike was born, a name inspired by the Greek goddess of victory. It was now or never, Knight said at the time. If he failed, everything he had built would crumble like a house of cards. The following years were marked by constant financial struggles. On more than one occasion, Nike was on the brink of bankruptcy. Knight faced a barrage of lawsuits, production problems, and pressure from his own employees and investors. The debt was suffocating. "There were nights when I couldn't sleep, knowing that the next day I might lose everything." But despite the challenges, Knight never stopped believing in his vision. He knew the only thing standing between him and total failure was his own resilience. Finally, in 1979, everything changed. The launch of the Air sneakers, with their revolutionary cushioning system, was a massive success. Nike transformed from a struggling company into the market leader. "We had crossed the finish line," Knight said, but the cost was enormous. Behind that success lay immense personal sacrifice. Knight admitted that his dedication to the company cost him his health, his friendships, and to a large extent, his relationship with his family. "I gave everything to Nike, and sometimes I wonder if it was worth it, but the triumph was undeniable." Nike not only revolutionized the shoe industry, but also changed sports culture forever. In 1980, the company went public, and Phil Knight became a billionaire. But the road didn't get any easier. The 1990s were plagued with ethical issues over labor conditions in factories and constant criticism over exploitation. Facing Nike's biggest public relations crisis, Knight was forced to change the company's culture from the inside. Today, at 86, Knight remains an enigmatic figure. "There's always a price to pay," he says with a mix of satisfaction and melancholy. With a fortune exceeding $40 billion, he insists that true success isn't in the numbers, but in the passion and sacrifice it takes to get there. Nike isn't just a brand, it's the embodiment of perseverance, of not giving up when everything seems lost. It's the story of a man who defied the odds, risked his life, and achieved the impossible. "Don't stop," Knight would say. "Just do it."